Yeah, buddy. We are live. We have a shortened holiday week. We have FOMC. We have geopolitical war. Yeah, buddy. Emotions are flared. Tempers are high. We have King's protests or no King's protests. Yeah, buddy. When's the holiday? Thursday. Market holiday is Thursday. The overall theme here is nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. The market is just very grindy, very slow. No reason to sell. The market has completely disregarded the Israel-Iran conflict as we grind higher. We do have a contract roll, so we are now trading September contracts. What's up, YouTube? Good morning, Olson. How you doing? FOMC is expected to be as expected, which is a rate pause and no real material change in anything, in any sentiment. We do have a double bounce last night off of the weekly support and the actually a triple bounce, honestly, off of 21,700. Here's ES. Slow, steady grind up since settlement open. It's been straight up the entire settlement. Yeah, imagine they popped this higher. Yep. Let's see. We have no news today. We have at the morning. We have a 20-year bond auction at 1 o'clock, which should be somewhat spicy. Tomorrow we have core retail sales and a mix and match of some very minor stuff. Wednesday, of course, we have FOMC. Thursday, the market is closed. Today is moving day, of course. Not for the markets, for me. Movies will be here today, so if you see a lot of noise in the background, that is what is happening. I'll try to mitigate it as much as possible. Green up until the morning high here. Again, I would be very patient on taking any kind of early market orders. NASDAQ launching. ES launching. Same old open. Same old thing. Already coming up to yesterday's highs, which is 60.82. We are now 80 points higher than the gap down last night. Whole bunch of people predicting Armageddon last night, or yesterday, the entire weekend. However, if you monitor the weekend futures, you would have saw that it was very, very flat. I think the most Reddit got in the weekend futures is like 0.3%, 0.37%. So yeah. Nice little top wick here. 60.75. It's a little bittersweet moving away. Well, I'm at a rental property now. The rental property is only 5 minutes away from the farm, 5-10 minutes. But I'm super stoked. I hate this rental property. I'm ready to be in it. 60.75 here on the S&P. NASDAQ is top wicking as well after a peak above the Friday's highs. Again, I'm waiting for volume. If you want to really tune down your trading, man, wait for major pivots, weekly, monthly. That's the easiest money I can teach you. Trading can be quite easy, and as long as you can wait for those major levels. If you don't like scalping, then don't scalp. Just wait for major pivots. Major pivots. It really is that simple. The hard part is being patient. Let's see. Some crazy good deals on Palmetto State. I'm only saying that because I just flipped over a tab to Spot Gamma from Palmetto State. I was looking at this morning. I check Palmetto State just about every day. Right now we have 40 million in puts and 20 million in calls. So very, very light option chain positioning this morning. The market has completely written off the conflict. What's up, McGurky? Good morning. was jesting at your loathing of Phillies and Reynolds. Yeah, 100%. You sent me a DM. Let me take a look, Nathan. Is there an issue I need to correct? I'm just making sure I got everybody. I had a lot of signups this weekend. I want to make sure everyone is set up. Looks like it. What's up, Trippy Mike? Good morning. I am going to, like I said last night, I am going to control the amount of political posts from here on out. It's crap. Everyone's take is crap. My take is crap. I don't want to hear it, and it gets too emotional. So, are you buying anything good off Palmetto? Not today, no. Little top wick here off of the 15-minute POC and overnight highs. Let's see if we have a little too much too fast at some point today. We have very light option chain positioning. Like I said, I'm just chilling. I'm going to get something going. Scientists have detected a mysterious radio wave signal coming from beneath Antarctica's ice. That's not the first time I've seen that this morning. What is going on with that? Try to join the stage. No sound. Restart a computer. Hear the music if I unmute the function. Suggestions. Man, Discord's been a dumpster fire the past couple of weeks. I don't know. I know there's an update. Try to do an update and restarting. Thanks on throttling down our emotional political talk. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm just tired of hearing it. And if it's going to cause people to cancel and move on because they can't control their emotions, then I'd rather just shut it down. It's Admiral Boyd's Ghost Camp in Antarctica. Love it. Had to change audio settings to come out of the right speaker. Yeah, you can only use your right speaker on Discord, not your left. All right, top wicking here still. NASDAQ is still holding. 5 minute is still holding 2206. 60-minute chart here. Let's switch over to the charts here from Discord. Discord's a little meh. Change stream. Let's go to volume analysis chart. Here's what we got. The overall theme to be aware of is that nobody's missing anything here. We have been in this very tight back and forth range now for over a month. Over a month. So you're not missing much here. That's why everything's getting pretty boring. We have a little bit of a trend line here, micro. We have this overall range, 22.2, 22.3 on NASDAQ, 61, 61.50 on ES. So in my opinion, do what Lib just said. Oh, I guess it's Lie now, not Lib. Switch to the longer time frames, 15, 1 hour at least, and then wait. Because right now we have all this pivot up to 22.1. There's no need to be hacking back and forth here. ES still coming up to 60.80, and it's still grinding. Everything exactly the same. Precipitous dump, immediate buy up over and over and over again. Now, what's the difference? We had a slight spike in volume on Friday. Slight. I wouldn't call it high volume, but I would call it higher volume. With a doji, showing that we have hit some supply in this area, but not confirmation. Having a difficult time updating bookmap to the current September. All right, what's the problem, DB? Radio signal under the ice. Isn't that how Alien vs. Predator started? Never saw it. Never saw it. By the way, if you missed it on Friday, I had to update my affiliate code for Take Profit Trader to OMTPT. So it's no longer just OM, it's OMTPT. If you want to take advantage of that deal. What's today's call wall, put wall? Let me take a look. By the way, we're going for payout number 2 this week. Payout number 2. I'll let you know how that goes. Oh, man. Let's take a look at the put call wall for today's sesh. There's a lot of resistance at 60.30 on SPX. A lot of option chain positioning at 60.30, 10 points higher. There's a bit of a put call wall right in this area. It's why we're not really moving. IV is very low. Option chain positioning is very low. Option participation is very low. There's not a lot going on here. We're just chilling. Which is why I'm still, just like last week, bullish until otherwise noted. Bullish into the mid to upper 6100s. Because on a very light positioning market, not to mention I'm not seeing any kind of institutional positioning for downside, any kind of hedging, with VIX doing what it's doing, dropping back down to 19, constantly dumping. This is the churn and burn process. Whenever you see a move like this on the VIX, it does this over and over and over again. We have a big drop on the VIX, then it pops and drops, pop and drops, pop and drops, over and over and over again. Learn to exploit the patterns in the market. That's what the VIX is doing. So, bullish until otherwise stated, baby. Bullish until otherwise stated. Thoughts on Top Step? I love Top Step. Great stuff. I wish the market would just correct and give us something to enter on. Well, the market did just correct, man. We had that huge move. One of the biggest and hardest sells in history on the S&P. And now they're kind of grounding back up here. So if you want another rollover, you need volume. Do not preemptively enter on the market without volume. Once you learn to let volume trigger an entry, then you stop worrying about everything else. Here's my personal charts right there. Do I primarily chart personal accounts? I do both. I use prop accounts whenever I'm feeling the itch to do any scalping. I don't do any scalping on my long-term account for a while now. I will take some trades off major levels, but I use scalping. I use prop firms for my scalping, and everything else is on my real account. Swing trades, bond plays, selling options, and longer-term, heavier quality positions. What's your view on CL? A little bit of profit taking off the big pop and then higher. I've been, as long as CL holds 63, my thesis since February has been as long as CL holds 63, I'm bullish to 71. And obviously they did it very quickly in one day. But now we're having a little bit of a retracement, probably a 50% retracement bounce, and then I think consolidating to go higher into the lower to mid 80s. Secured our wedding venue. Nice, McGurky. When you getting married? June 6th. Do I get an invite? I want to come. 60-80. ES about to reach New York Friday highs, 100%. I don't know why. I find it hard to recognize when volume is actually piling in. Like I see it on a candle has higher volume than a previous candle, but it's like really high. Well, it's all relative. It's all relative. Here, look. Let's go back and look in the 60-minute chart. Which one of those is high volume on the 60-minute chart? Let me mute Bookmap for a second. Hold on. Uno momento, por favor. All right, which one of these is high volume? That's high, that's high, that's high, that's high. And this one's kind of borderline. It's higher, but do I consider it high? So just look for the high volume spikes on whatever time frame you choose to trade. The higher the better. And then figure out what the price action is doing. It's all you're trying to figure out a story. The market's telling you a story, and you have two components, volume and price. It's like what realtors tell you, is that it's all about location, location, location. Same thing with the market. Is I need to figure out what the price action is doing with what volume at what location. Where is it doing it at? Is it at a monthly high, weekly high? Is it at a major psychological level? Is it at JP Morgan collar? What's it doing at where? And then figure out what's going on here. That's why trading is so dynamic. Man, this is some garbage price action, man. Garbage price action. What's up, Invest in Muscle? Next target for Palantir. I don't really track Palantir, man. I divested from them a while ago. But I mean, they are launching. So, who knows? Crazy stuff. Oh, you did it to me again. Oh, why does it do that? I'm sure there's a faster fix for this, but it's just faster for me to do this. I don't know why it does this. Freaking trading view. There we go. Still grinding higher. Still grinding higher right here. 6,080 still coming up here. We have volume node. The volume node up here with the volume cavity from 6090. So once we get above Friday's highs, we'll probably have a quick trip to 6090, 6100 up into this area. So we just have to watch for this area here, of course. I'm sure we'll have a too much too fast profit taking, but you just gotta be quick. Double click it. Yeah, I tried doing that, man. Like every now and then it'll just go wonky like that. It just nothing changes. I'm like, frick it, I just zoom in. Just shorts. Do you remember me? I think I do. The name sounds familiar. What's happening, man? When you chart, you use the most up-to-date contract. One thing I get confused about is how there's NASDAQ main chart, which differentiates from All right, Anon. So if you're using TradingView, if you see this little cat right here, if you see this cat right here where it says ES1 exclamation, that means it puts the most recent contract up front. So if you're trading on TradingView on the S&P contracts, that name, the ES1 exclamation mark, will put the most recently traded contracts up front, which in this case is now September. And it'll stay there until a couple of weeks before the roll, or maybe a week before the roll, and then it'll change over to December. If you want to trade specifically which contract it is, then you have to actually go in and search for the actual specific name, which is ESM 2025, which will be June, and ESU 2025, which will be September. Another top wick. Multiple sweeping top wicks in this area. But can they close lower is the question. Can they close lower is the question. Right here. 60.80. We have very light liquidity on the book, very, very light, which makes it easy to move when we have no volume. Even NASDAQ is kind of just bleh. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. You recommended me the book VP of Amanda Calling. I read half and I always feel like she's saying everything all over again. Is that right? I'm doing something wrong. Well, I mean, trading can be pretty repetitive because there's not much to it. We try to overcomplicate trading, but it's not much to it. In my opinion, I mean, I've read that book half a dozen times. I've reread that book cover to cover so many times I don't know. But chapters 4 through 8 is the meat and potatoes, or leeks and broccoli if you're a vegetarian, meat and potatoes, whatever. But go through and just read that book. And the first 3 chapters is setting up the concept of price action. 4 through 8 is the technical introduction of what she thinks, and then after that is application. So you have introduction, technical, and then application is after that. So, in my opinion, pick what you want. Chapters 4 through 8, as I've read, and you read that over and over and over and over again. But it's all conceptual. Everything she teaches is teaching you how to conceptualize the price action, to think about what's going on in the market, not just, all right, well, there's a line, I'm just going to buy the line or short the line. Think about what the price action is actually attempting to do. Inventory. Buy low, sell high, buy low, through the process of inventory manipulation. Which volume indicator is on the right side of your screen? That is the volume profile, Shane. So if you look here, volume profile right here. VP. And that is by KV4 Coins. Massive bottom wick on NASDAQ going higher. Going higher. Beautiful stuff. Right into the next volume node, of course. I understand how to access the different ones, but for example, the NQ chart has a gap up versus September had initial gap down. It's because you had to roll, so there's going to be a gap on the price action. So the price action, the volume's still the same, but to show the level, you've got to they have to print a gap. That's why you can't. That's not a technical gap. That's just a software gap. You're welcome, Just Shorts. 6085 here on ES, coming right inside this major node of 6090 up to 6100. We have 277 in calls and 140 in puts. So very, very, very light activity on the options. And where did we just hit on SPX? 6030, right? So we just tapped 6029.58 on SPX, which is a 6030 print for the short calls. I almost sounded like a New Yorker there. The short calls. You just tapped the calls over here. 6030 short calls is what they just tapped. Hey, how's your mother? Let's go down to Ray's Pizza and get us a slice. How you doing? Oh my gosh. Got the gagoots over here. My mother was from Long Island. I got a little of that in me. You're welcome, Just Shorts. Appreciate the question, buddy. A little bit of top wick here, 6083. Look at all that sell side liquidity right at 6030. Come in on the book map, 6035, 6030, about 1,000 orders of buy side liquidity. U.S. Nimitz is being activated to the Middle East. Beautiful. Mother was a saint. Oh, man. Some absolutely disgusting price action. Look at the 1 minute. The 1 minute, dead flat. Except this one little pop above. Of course, you've never shorted a dull market. Of course. Not to mention, everyone trying to short the old conflict is now getting wrecked with a capital R. Still going, 6087, climbing up. NASDAQ's going, ES is going. Very slow but grindy. No shorting at all. Very light option chain. I can't even believe how light it is. But you'd never short a dull market until you have the signal with volume. We have 270 million in calls just barely creeping up into Friday's highs. Now, of course, fill the imbalance. Where's the imbalance at? The main imbalance is right here. The exact price is 85.50, so let's put that at 85.50 to be exact. Aim small, miss small, right? Fill the imbalance from Thursday session. And now they're still, oh, what we got? They just ate up all that liquidity. See that liquidity coming on at 30.35? It blew right through it. Blew right through it. It's still going. Booyakasha. How do you trade this? You only long or you wait. You only long or you wait. Blasting. Blasting, homie. Blasting. Is that the liquidity sweep we need to get higher? We will see. Crazy stuff, bruh. Beautiful top wick. That may be a liquidity sweep style price action. We'll see if it closes. We will see. Am I seeing too much too fast? Possibly. Do you think we grind up at FOMC? I do think this whole week is going to be a grindy bullish session into or after FOMC. I don't know what to happen in the meantime, but when a liquidity sweep are going to go lower, not continue higher. And a scalping session, yes, but if you get the price action to close. You know, when I look for a liquidity sweep, I want to see slower price action, big move, and then the top wick with volume. And of course, we're not getting that. We're still grinding higher here. So 60.94 to 6100, still straight up. I mean, we've now been straight up to settlement open. I would probably look for 6100 at this point. Nice psychological level. We're just going higher, baby. Going higher. All right, moving truck is here. So it may start getting a little bit rackety or noisy in the background. I'll try to minimize as much as I can. Bear with me. Moving to Options Millionaire new studios this week. My blacked out room. Love it. Can't wait. Tell them to hush. Yeah. 60.96 here. Still going. How many of you have tried to short this already? Don't lie to me. Nice, McGurky. Iran signals it wants to de-escalate hostilities with Israel. Yeah, it's all nonsense. Dog and pony show, man. Always is. Still grinding up. That's the 1 minute chart right there. It shows you how grindy this is. By the way, Just Short, who asked me about volume on the stream? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Brandon Lee. Yeah, that's him. Do not look for high volume spikes on the low volume charts. For confirmation, I should say. Yeah, so low volume, the 1 minute, 1 minute, 5 minute, you don't want, those aren't actionable signals for volume because things change so quickly. So you only use those to monitor when volume is beginning to start. But you have to be able to see the whole thing come to fruition, which is on the 15 minutes. So I'll go down and check the 1, 3, 5 and whatnot to see when the volume is beginning to hit, and then I'll go to the 15 to confirm what the price action is doing with the volume to see, all right, well, is this actionable? But never, ever make a decision, at least my opinion, off of the short time frames like the 1 and 3 and 5. Yeah, buddy. Let's see what we're doing here. 60.94, probably going to 6100 up in this area. Very, very tight, slow price action. That was you. Nice. Yeah, buddy. I'm actually long from 67. Nice NTG. Shorts in the afternoon, the fast few sessions. Love it. That's a great observation. Wrote my rules out and I'm following them. I will wait for a topic with volume to enter, then I shall wait. Love it. Keep it up. Keep it up. Very boring. 60.93 on ES. NASDAQ is 22,150. Back and forth. Boring. Hmm. 15-minute chart, 60.94. Next target right here. Nice little blast off again. 5-minute algorithm. What did the 5-minute algorithm do at 10 o'clock? Immediately went green, right? Every single candle's going higher. Is that a good spot to long with a slight pullback? I don't see a pullback yet. So it's still going. 180, 190, and 21,100 on ES. Most likely going for last week's area of 6103 here. Right here, 6100. Thoughts on Coinbase? I don't really track it. All right, now we have the 10 o'clock candles. Obviously, everything is quite green. After a nice little move. This is the same price action we've been dealing with for weeks now. Just relentless low volume green until you have a high volume top wick. But the high volume, here's the deal. The high volume has been fantastic in pinning the high of the day or the high of the range. So if you can just wait for that, it'll come. And also, do not get out of your longs until you see stuff like that. How should I get into a long at this point? I mean, admittedly, this stuff is difficult to play. That's why I haven't been playing the first 30 minutes very much the past couple of weeks, is because it does this relentlessly. So there's not a great place to get in other than waiting for a pullback and bottom wick, which we haven't had one yet. It's been straight up now since the open. So, but that definitely doesn't mean do any kind of shorting. It's just you're just gonna have to be patient. Either do some sort of calculated chase, which I would, the higher you go, the lower probability that is, or just wait. There's not any pullback here. It's just straight up. Pullback to a prior high would be fantastic. Support resistance flip, which was one of my favorite plays. But when you do this stuff, you don't get it. It's just why I just don't like these opens, because there's very little chances to get in. Let's see what the volume's coming in at here. So you see we do have a high volume tick there at the 10 o'clock mark. So that's a first instance of volume. So you go to the 5. We do have kind of this top wiki style of price action, but still going higher. But we have no high volume yet on the 5 or 15, only on the 1 minute. So there's a possibility for a retracement here, but still not actionable until you have more of a top wick that holds here, because the market is still grinding up and up and up. The bids are still being lifted, or the asks are still being lifted here. So far. Did you see the college football fans trolling Iron Military on X? Don't play anybody eating a lot. I love it. That's hilarious. I did not see that, but that's hilarious. Top wick higher, top wick higher. 100%. I mean, look at it. Let me look at the 1 minute. Not a single propensity for any kind of continued drop. So it's just up, continue to go up. And it's going to eat everyone's lunch. What's NASDAQ liquidity looks like here? They do have a little bit down to 22.12, but still going higher. ES has 6,100. Here's my take here. 6,100 tap sweep, and then we'll have your whatever kind of profit taking. A little bit of profit taking, not much. Don't look for a big complete reversal, but 6,100, sweep it, aggressive candle, top wick, boom, there's your short entry, if I had to guess. Or your roll your stop up for your longs. Either one. Iran says it will stay out of the nuclear talk. It will resume nuclear talk if the U.S. stays out of it. I'm good with that. Eat the tail day. $60.95. Still haven't tapped 6,100 yet. Or, yeah, 6,100, which is the target. It tapped it, but it's got to sweep it. It's got to sweep it. Every red candle's immediately bottom wick to go higher because there's no volume. So we haven't hit any kind of supply. When you try to chase a small red low volume candle, you are chasing the high frequency traders. And you don't want to do that because you're going to get immediately reversed. This is some of the most boring trading we've had in years, the past couple of weeks. Look at that. What's up, Sam? How you doing, buddy? Good morning. Still back and forth, waiting for any kind of indication. Do we finally get a sweep? It's about time for me to start breaking out some iron condors. Once I move in this house, it's back to iron condors, baby. When I have more time to babysit. I'm done with this crap. $60.95, still waiting for 6,100. A little bit of green, a little bit of bottom wick, back up on the 1 minute, 5 minute, all this stuff. 5-minute algorithm shift right here. The algorithm on the 5-minute is immediately green. Good afternoon. I love it, Sam. I love it. What's the level down to take a clear put? I mean, that'll be evident when it comes. But for me, the 15-minute, you got to be able to get under 60.93 here to start the process. But to me, I need to see a clearing of the structure with volume. Obviously, the first candle was incredibly bullish. There's nothing bearish at all about that first candle. So at this point, you're kind of front-running the opportunity to short 60.89 or so. But still, you're going to have structure right below that area. So 60.80. So you're going to have to start very small positioning if you want to take any kind of position like that and see if they can build into something great. That's just the nature of trading this style of price action, especially in the macro environment that we're in. Probably a good week for vacay. Yeah, oh yeah, especially with a shortened holiday week. Market is closed on Thursdays, so 100%. ES is small top wick. NASDAQ is not. NASDAQ is still holding. We have a tap of 6,100 and a small top wick with no volume, but they have to clear that stuff. Nope, not able to close it still. So nothing. Thoughts on maybe a VIX play? Not at these levels, no. I'm not. Y'all know I'm not a big VIX fan anyway. Play VIX fan anyway, but they finally split that one biotech. The one from 3 to 900. Nice. Buy all the dips. Yeah, 100%. Until you have volume, buy all the dips. But it's just to me, that's just the way it is. Y'all know me. I hate playing the slow grinding up that never retests because there's not a good indication to buy in. There's certainly no indication to short. So that's what I'm forced to watch most of these mornings because it happens very early. We keep getting these day after day. Friday would have been a fantastic play. It was. Thursday sucked. So it's just the way it is. It's a lot of watching and a lot of waiting until we get something that's clear. But every single day appears to be these slow vol grinding ups, which sucks. How do you compare NASDAQ to ES? I've seen a few videos on SMT, but I can't get my head around it. Comparing? I don't know if that's a good word. I want to monitor both of those names to watch if the market is moving in tandem for momentum purposes. NASDAQ high of the day, ES high of the day. Here's a 6,100 tap. So I monitor divergences on them as well. So if there's a divergence between ES and NASDAQ, meaning they're moving differently, like one's red, one's green, that's usually an indication to kind of back off for a little bit to see if there's any kind of correlation in the market. For the most part, the past 5 years, NASDAQ has been the driver of price action. NASDAQ is usually phenomenally green or very supportive of the market, which creates a very relentless upward style trajectory for the S&P, especially when everything else is red, which right now everything is very green. The NASDAQ is very, very green. ES is up 2%. NVIDIA is up 1.8. Tesla's up 1.4. Meta's up 2.9. So it's a very, very green market, very, very green tech, and everything is kind of in a tailwind here. And as puts and shorts cover or scramble to cover over the weekend, it's going to keep on going higher. Do I use it for momentum plays? I do use momentum as well. I had a chance to go down the OM rabbit hole this weekend while working. A lot of your videos from 3 to 4 years ago still play. Are you going to revisit anyone with your increased wisdom? Yeah. So like I said, like the content is going to be beginning to start to roll out here in the upcoming weeks. Now that I have time, and we'll be going over revisiting old concepts, tailoring, tuning up some stuff, going over some newer concepts, revisiting older concepts. ES did hit my 100. Yeah, 6100. That's a 0-0 psychological level. Hero, what do we got? Hero right now is showing 1.2 billion in calls, 6 million in puts. What's the ratio to that? 1.2 billion to 6 million. Here we go. Still bottom wick and climbing. We're going to sweep the 100 area. One thing I have noticed for those who do trade logs, which I definitely do and I highly recommend you do, is that all my analysis is pointed to when the market does this crap, I trade far better in the afternoons than this. So my hit rate has gone up in the afternoons, gone down in the morning, simply because when this starts doing this low volume grind up stuff, that it's hard for me to get an entry with my system. That it works very well when volume begins to hit in the afternoon sessions, and things become a little bit more clear when the market tips its hand to what it wants to do, because then I can exploit it. Bottom weight. There we go, 6100, still going up. Man, how many days have we had the past couple of weeks like this? Just relentless, non-stop grind up days. It's crazy. Crazy. Still going. Here's 6100 breach. We have liquidity up to 6110. Slow motion sweep. Yeah. Y'all see Will Smith's new song? So do big players hedge when there's green days like this, especially with geopolitical climate? Well, this price action like this is a result of absolute zero fear. So there's zero positioning to the downside here. Whereas retail is trying to short everything, the big players have very low IV. They have a call wall higher and zero downside protection. So the market is just extremely positive delta. So it's just grinding higher here. And until that protection starts to come along, VIX goes up, premiums go up, things are going to fluctuate, and defense happens. This is going to continue to happen, and which is why, again, for the every day for the past 5 years, you have to wait for volume because volume will tip that hand. Yeah, it is garbage. $61.04 still going up. Still going up. Look at that. Look at that price action on the 5 minute. Still going, baby. Gotta love it. Yeah, I saw that trippy Mike. It was crazy. I managed to get 28% on SPY calls. Got stopped out. I'm thinking I'm playing my stops too tight with how slow it is. I was worried about a drop. Well, in this price action, very slow. 0DT options don't perform well because theta will catch up, especially into the late morning, early afternoon. So I don't think it's a bad idea to put a stop too tight because these long plays on the slow volume grind up are almost free money. It's very easy to play. But the catch is, the second we have any kind of real volume, this thing will take out half the range in a second. So when you're playing 0DT options with has theta involved, I think that's a smart move. You're not looking for a 1,000% banger on a day like today. 28% is fantastic. I have no problem with 28% on a day like today. The second we get volume, half this range will be wiped out for a 50% retracement. Let's see how this changes on the daily. $120 points on ES, still going. Can you show me a top tick looks when it closes? Yeah. Right here. So this is the process of topping. Right here. This is a 15-minute chart. So very similar price action back on Friday. And on Thursday. And on Monday. And on Friday. I mean, every day it's the same old crap. You have this relentless grind up. We have a red candle that begins the process of topping. So first you see that the volume starts to climb here. We have a top wick that closes, which signals the top. We have a green inside. We have a red candle. And then this candle right here is your opportunity to go short. The 11:30 candle, 12:30 Eastern Time on Friday. We have a doji, and then finally the bears take over here. This is how a top looks. It takes what? It literally took 2 hours to stop the freight train and then turn the freight train back in the other direction on the 15-minute chart. And I suspect that it'll do the same thing today. Not to say that we're going to sell off today. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you were looking for any kind of that positioning, a topping motion, that's what you're going to have to put up with. It takes a very long time to have an actionable position. So, nice, Kennedy. Well done. Today will be the first day of taking the blind 11:30 short. I love it. I love it. Nice gig, Guru. Thanks, Brandon Lee. Appreciate you, buddy. Confirming I've been doing okay. I've been following you for a while, and I've been getting about 30% a day for the last week. Beautiful. Keep it up, buddy. Keep it up. Lock it in. And of course, as you continue to do better, if you're finally starting to see profits, pay yourself. Even if you're not net long on the year or forever, pay yourself. Thank you. Take money out, buy something, go buy yourself, something nice. Go buy the wife something nice. Still going 61.05, climbing up as they continue to squeeze. Now, macro level, what do we have? We have last week's highs. Every one of you should have a line at last week's highs. If you don't, smack yourself in the face right now. I could probably bet with 80% confidence that plus or minus 4 points, we're going to reject this and come back down a couple of points. It'll have enough for a position and to tune up your long liquidity stops. So in the event that we go another 11 points, or 21 points, little public math there, that's the level. And it requires patience. Maybe we don't get that till tomorrow. Maybe we don't get it till tonight, sometime in the overnight session. I shorted 22,191 for a scalp of 10 points. Justification, the 22.2 look like bait. Yeah. I love it. Do you put bananas on your PB&J? I've been trying something new to try to manage my losses. I keep my account at $2,000. Anytime above that number in my account, I withdraw. I withdraw like $3,500. Beautiful. Here's what I would recommend, Brandon, because as you get better, uh, you know, you need money to make money, right? Once you take out as much money to pay for that account, so let's say you put $2,000 in, like, I don't know, IBKR. Once you withdraw $2,000 and you've now paid for that investment, now start to leave money in there until you hit 3,000, and now keep it at 3,000 and keep doing what you're doing until you pay for that, and keep on stair stepping up until eventually you build a 25K account, a 100K account, and God willing, $1 million account. Love it. Still going up, baby. You think 6107? What's your reason by 6107? I'm a purist. Yeah, buddy. How about a Nutella and peanut butter and jelly, or Nutella and banana sandwich? That is fire right there. Fire. Hmm. Yeah, honey. Honey's delicious too. Make a peanut butter and jelly with bread. What I used to do, you take a piece of bread, obviously, sandwich. Put a bunch of peanut butter on it. You sprinkle on a couple of chocolate pieces, like baking pieces, the semi-sweet or the milk chocolate baking pieces, chocolate. Slices of banana, honey, cinnamon. Eat that. Delicious. Delicious. I call it the Diabetes 3000, but it's delicious. 6107 climbing up. Haven't had one of those in a long, long time, but I need to change that. I need to change that. Still going. 22,000, 6110. Smoking everyone. Apex is about to throw down a 90% sale on this stuff. Squat PR reward. Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Still going. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Diabetes 3000 just made me literally 100%. 100%. My mom was a type 1 diabetic, so I had to learn very young how to deal with diabetics and diabetes. Be very aware of her and behavior. I need to cut my sugar, man. That's my biggest weakness in my health. Yeah. Probably going to short when I see buyer exhaustion, seller entrance, but not saying that. Well, again, the reason why I say all this stuff is not because I'm sitting here waiting for a short or implying that you need to be doing that. I'm telling you all this because the retail mind wants to short action like this. And I'm telling you, there is no short to be had here. Take it from me. I've missed a lot of opportunity the past couple weeks by waiting for retracements, and they don't. So instead, you need to either long or just wait and be patient for the one actionable short that comes, which it will come eventually. But you have to learn the concept to wait for it, which is a high volume top wick with volume that closes lower. The three criteria between taking a short on a movement like this. And then, of course, if you want to throw in a fourth criteria or an asterisk, is location. 6126 would be a fantastic opportunity to have that. Until then, you either do nothing, go grab yourself a Coke, Diabetes 3000 sandwich, or just wait. Diabetes. I haven't seen anything in almost 3 weeks that made me want to take. 100%. Like, I'm extremely bored with this market. Extremely bored. Because this market is just complete garbage. Complete garbage. Slow grindy. Back to my real job. Nice, Brandon. What do you do for a living, if you don't mind me asking? A little bit of red. Yeah, Golden had a decent play, definitely. Gold did, yeah. Like I said, man, once I'm all settled in, I've been very, very busy the past year. Like, we broke ground on July 15th, and we're finally moving in today. My office is ready to go. The internet's ready. I've got 800 megabytes of download speed, 790 megabytes of upload speed. Like, I'm ready. And it's all about getting in, locking in, trading, content production. Red candle, 60. Even though I paid for 2 gigs, I'm only getting 800 megs, so I need to figure out where the 1.2 gigs of download is. A little bit of red candles here off of the 6100. Neuroscience, R&D. Nice, Brandon. I bet you know some cool stuff. Your barn home is finished? Yes, sir, it is. It is. I have the certificate of occupancy. We're ready to go, baby. Red candle 6102 off 6100. It's the first time we've had a red candle with a lower low close. Top wick. Happy to hear the county. Yeah, the government finally gave me permission to move into my own home. So I'm very thankful to the government for providing me the privilege of moving into my own home. The government. I got 2 gig. Apparently my first building, they put in a whole new line. So they had to pull in a whole line. Nice. 6102, still a little red here. Oh, trapping everyone. Look at that. Trapping them. Trapping them. Very slow moving. Would you be opposed to give us a tour of your new home and office? Super curious. Once it's all like completely done, 100%. I mean, I still have a little bit of aesthetic stuff to do, but yeah, 100%. I actually considered making a YouTube channel based on all this stuff, but an OnlyFans room. Oh my gosh. Come on, Dan. Crazy how only a few months ago everyone was selling all their stock, now everything's buying up to new highs. That's the way it works, man. OM Home Improvement. Absolutely. Don't forget the yeah. $61.04. Is your low speed on Wi-Fi? Wired. It's wired. Yeah, the fastest I can get is about 800 megs. $61.0250. A little bit of red. NASDAQ finally rolled back over and dropped. Is the fiber to the home or fiber to the neighborhood? I don't live in a neighborhood. I live in the BFE country. So my driveway is a quarter-mile long, and they had to run the fiber all the way that way, obviously, to the house. Which that may, I don't know. I don't know anything about that stuff. That could cause some slower speeds. But it is a fiber line to it. So yeah. So we have a small indication of a red candle off 6108. NASDAQ is doing the same. Right off of Thursday's highs. So we're absorbing Thursday's highs, which is a micro pivot. Texas Roadhouse, fantastic stuff. Texas Roadhouse is one of the few restaurants that's consistent. They're consistently good. Their quality is always the same. It's good stuff. A little bit of red, 21,178, still dropping. NASDAQ is doing the same. ES is doing the same. Very, very tight, very, very slow. Bottom wick, right there. Sleeper company. Honey butter. Honey butter's fantastic. There might be an issue with their converter box of Verizon F5S, so we call it the ONT, and it turned the fiber signal to a copper signal. Huh. Cracker Barrel supposedly doing pretty well. They got a good formula. Oh yeah, delicious stuff too. I think this gets bought right back up and pushed to 60.28. I'm with you, Tofu. See, we couldn't get it closed lower. So the three criteria has not been met yet. So we still continue on until the 22.319 and the 61.26 on a yes. Same old stuff, different day, baby. Same old stuff, different day. Not a single red 15-minute candle yet. All green, baby. All green. Iran calls on Tel Aviv to evacuate the city as soon as possible. Haven't they been saying that since like 1937? Look at that 1 minute chart. Tell me that's not fun to trade. God. Let's see what the hero's telling us. Where's the S&P at? SPX is 60.50, 17 points beyond their call leg, which creates squeeze type price action. I chickened out holding the grind up. That's why nobody will remember my name. That's the thing about trading, man. There's only two instances where you want people to know your name, is if you're blowing up or you're absolutely just killing it. Otherwise, you don't want to be remembered. Stay in the valley, man. Look, even Trader Kane says this is a week to sit on your hands and do nothing. 100% agree. 100% agree. No Sal for a while. Oh, my bad. I've been talking with the muted. No one said anything, but yeah. My Locky and Raytheon calls are down from Friday to now. Yeah, I am a jabroni. That's right. I am a jabroni. Market is closed Thursday. FOMC on Wednesday. Or probably fixing their settings, yeah. Do you think the holiday will affect FOMC? Oh, man. Do I think the holiday will affect the FOMC? No. No. I think the FOMC is going to be a bit of a tailwind anyway. So the whole key word, it doesn't matter what's going, what the content of the FOMC is. It's just the underlying word is as expected. So the market is going to do what it's doing because it's going to do exactly what the market's pricing in. So what you're probably going to see, a little bit of red back and forth, a very small amount of red, just to kind of undo some of the positioning, and then we're going to eventually go into a bit of a tailwind as we get into the June months. We're coming up on the end of June here. We're about halfway through, which is crazy to me. I mean, we're already through halfway through the year, which is nuts. And, yeah. I started a personal $100 challenge because I've never been over trading. Because I've been over trading enabling bad habits when I want to force me to trade high confidence setups. Beautiful. Thoughts on the Dreamliner in India? You talking about the crash? Pilot induced error. Pisses me off. Pilot error drives me nuts. But yeah. I have watched too many videos of dudes killing their families, taking them on a flight because they make stupid mistakes. I was trying to make my wife more informed to what we do here, and she sees the word jabroni. I was like, what is that? You got to tell her, man. I am a jabroni. A jabroni is me. Buy one, get one free triple smash burger at Sonic. What's the over-under on the calories on that thing? And you can get 2 of them for the price of 1. But hey, I can't buy testosterone. Tell her about the gabagool. That's right. But I can buy a triple stacker. That's right, Dan. My dad has tests. He says he rubs it on his shoulder for TRT. They are bringing a Whataburger to Knoxville. I thought of you. Yeah, it's terrible. I tried it again 2-3 months ago. It was equally as terrible as I remembered. Thinking about taking a couple little drops. Do it. As a Texan, I swear it used to be good. 400 milligrams of TR. 400 mils. Heck yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Corey? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you always supporting the community. Don't think engine's hydraulic and failed. From what it looks like to me, they did not have flaps deployed on takeoff. Because what happens is that when you're on takeoff, you've got flaps to generate lift because you're at slow speeds. So not to mention you have to increase your angle of attack without stalling the wings. So you take off with flaps deployed. It appears they either took off without flaps or they dumped the flaps somehow on takeoff, which will cause an immediate loss of lift and drive them to the ground. There's no way to recover from that. So that's why the plane took off. It could not generate any lift. It could not gain altitude because flaps weren't deployed. And not to mention they left the landing gear up the whole time, which is an insane amount of drag. Literally, once you hit 400 feet AGL, gear up. So like all of our checklists, like when you're going through your checklist, it says 400 feet, gear up. Literally, you have to verbalize it on the radio in the military. Because if you have an incident, they're going to be listening to the black box, and if you don't say 400 AGL gear up, then there's going to be an inspection, an investigation, and they didn't put up the gear, so to me it was all pilot-induced error. They drove that airplane to the ground. So I was sitting on my couch and coughed, and I fractured my L4 vertebrae, is what they said. When was this? So we don't expect Boeing to drop back down? No, I don't. No, it was a pilot error. No. Don't want to risk hair loss or not be able to have kids. Hair's overrated. A little bit of red, very small amount of red, finally kind of tipping back over here. 20 points on NASDAQ and 5 points on the ES. If we could take out the low of 101, oh man, might be able to get down to 90, 88. Slowly going. Oh man. A little bit more red. Have I ever tried testosterone with ACG together? I have not. Can't believe that guy survived. Yeah, that's crazy. It's hard to believe that guy survived. I'd sacrifice my hair for some sick gains. Heck yeah, man. No issues with that. And for kids, I've snipped, but on TRT, I had my second son and got the job done. Oh my gosh. I'm going to create a rule. I'm going to write on my post-it note. Rule number 4. Pre-read all of Dan's messages before verbalizing them. Wouldn't really call that a high-volume top wick. No, I would not either, no. It's still an inside candle, too, so. Has anyone else taken a payout on Take Profit Trader yet? I want to make sure that everyone else is having the same success with the one-day payouts. Yeah, nice, Chanty. Well done. Can we lock in 101? Still in the eval? Nice. Take it slow. I like it. I like it. I know Gaz is taking some payouts from them. I think the next rifle I'm going to buy is a DMR. I'm still 29 in power building, lifting. 3 days of powerlifting week, 3 days of bodybuilding S workouts. Love it. It's fantastic. Heck yeah, man. I'm going to have to drop off a little bit earlier today because they have to get in this office and start pulling out furniture. And it'll just be too loud, so we're going to call it early here in a few minutes. Not to mention the price action is terrible. I got more guns than I need, but not as many as I want. Have you seen the state of the government these days, Funhaver? You don't have as many guns as you need. It's going to get bad eventually, and we're going to need them. OM log off short incoming. Heck yeah. Your shorts are going to get ripped into shreds until we hit another sweep. Yeah. On a low volume day, isn't a slow rollover with no volume possible? 100% it is. Yeah. Again, when I say wait for high volume, I'm not saying that it has to have that. I'm just saying for confidence. Remember, volume is simply an indication of confidence. I mean, heck, if you look at this massive little grind up, there's still plenty of opportunity to scalp short if you want to do that for 3-4 points. Me personally, I don't want to do that, and it's considered low confidence. So there's plenty of opportunity to take some scalp shorts here on the 1 minute for 3, 4, 5 points, which I just think is ridiculous. But it's all about the high volume. Anytime I take a trade, I want a confident trade, and I want to go for at least, in this case, I wouldn't go for more than 20 points because the thing's so tight. I want to go for the big, high confident moves, and then if it turns into just a small scalp because if it broke down, then cool. But if I continue to put myself in those positions, then I'm going to have more big wins than I am going to have big losses. And that's the whole kit and caboodle. My next rifle is going to be a shotgun. There you go. Am I crazy for wanting to short this? No, I have no problem with you wanting to short this. But you have to be smart about it. If you want to play the only short side, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But if you're going to do something like that, you've got to be smart about it and wait for the 3 criteria and then at location. And it may take you a couple of days to wait for that kind of move. But that's okay. Just wait for the opportune time to do that. A little bit of red, 6100. Anyone have a recommendation for a pellet gun that's safe in residential areas? What I would do, just get you a 22 rifle and then use Calibri rounds instead of a pellet gun. Calibri, they're subsonic. Literally, there's no explosion. It sounds like a pellet gun, but it's a 22. They don't use, the reason why is because they don't use typical gunpowder in the shell. It just I actually don't know what's inside of them. I'll have to look it up. I think it's spelled like this. Calibri. So I used to use that in my old backyard. Is I'd get those to shoot squirrels and stuff, and you can't, it literally sounds like a pellet gun. Yeah, here we go. I'll send you a link right there. Finally have a little red move out down on 6105. Beretta has a new tactical shot down to 1301. Love it. I'll have to look it up. NVIDIA's popping. Hero indicator. Let's see. Ooh, might be a good opportunity. The market has gone, get this, we have gone from 6 million in puts to 760 million in puts in the past 15 minutes. Maybe time for some profit taking. That would probably work on rabbits. 100% it would. Yeah, as long as you're, obviously you don't get a lot of range out of that. Maybe 30 to 50 yards. And you got to be pretty accurate with it. Got to do some headshots. But yeah, they're fantastic. Beretta 1301. I'll have to look it up. Ooh, I like it. Starting at $1,700. God, it's difficult for me to pay $1,700 for a 12 gauge though, man. When I can custom build one like that for cheaper. $6,100. Headshot in them squats right. What's a good rifle for it? For what? For that round? Any 22. With a decent scope on it, so you can get accurate. But it'll work for any 22. I would not recommend that. Actually, I don't even think it works with semi-automatic. So it'll have to be a bolt action because obviously there's no powder, so it won't be able to. It won't charge the action. So lever action or bolt action only with those, or a single shot, of course. A little bit of red here. 6,100 break. The 15-minute, we finally took out the double low. See the double candle we had low at 6101. We finally took that out. And still creeping lower. What's NASDAQ doing here? Is there a divergence? There is a slight divergence between the S and NASDAQ. It's because of tech. Look at tech. I mean, look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's popping. Amazon is popping. Meta is popping. So, yeah, there's a slight divergence here. 0.5%. There we go, a little bit more red. There you go, LL. There's a link for it. All right, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I do have to hop off here because they're about to come in the office, but we do have a 15-minute candle below the 6101. It hasn't closed yet, but it's below there. There is a divergence here between the S and NASDAQ, so in my opinion, watch NASDAQ and NVIDIA to determine when it's going to come down. We do have puts being purchased on the Hero. In fact, I'll finish up here with a screenshot of the Hero because they are absolutely pouring into puts right here in a very big manner. Look at this. They are selling calls and buying puts at the moment, which we could lead to a very much needed retracement. There you go. Blue line is puts. It means they're buying them when it goes down. A little bit of a top wick. So if you have any questions, let me know. Tomorrow we'll be streaming in the new OM Studios, which won't really mean change mark for you all, but it'll change for me. And we'll go from there. So if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Another grind up day. In my opinion, this week you probably need to just chill a little bit, be a little bit more patient. We have a shortened holiday week with FOMC as we get into the summer months. So hope you have a good rest of the day. Hit me up with any questions. Of course, use the new code OMTPT to get 30% off and no activation fee for life on Take Profit Trader. Single day payouts, reset your funded account if you have a bad day, all that kind of stuff. Other than that, I'll see you all bright and early tomorrow morning. I'm out. See you.